Hi, I'm David with Rapid Materials. Today we're going to talk about the Edma Hole Punch distributed in the United States by Freund Tools. So the Edma comes packaged with all the punches that you need. It looks like it's got 4 in the package and 1 in the hole. So the basic hole punch has an adjustable slide where we can set the distance where we're going to punch the hole at. I don't know if you can see the alignment spot of the punch. It's got a receiver for the punch itself, and when you squeeze the handle, the punch punches through the sheet metal and into the receiver. Pretty basic stuff. According to Edma, this thing comes with 4 different sizes: a 0.13 inch, 0.16 inch, 0.19 inch, and 0.24 inch. So let's just take a look at it, see how it all comes apart and goes back together again. So we have 2 components that need to be changed for different hole sizes. One is the receiver, and it uses a little Allen wrench right there, which is twisting the Allen wrench off. Get a close up of that. Wow. All right, since the wrench that came with this tool is junk, and I'll show you. You can see that thing twisted up like crazy trying to loosen the bolt. So first thing I would do is get rid of that and go get you a nice new 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench, and it works great. Because this doesn't come with instructions, it's not clear on how to remove the punch from the body, but we did figure it out. The first thing you have to do is take these bolts loose. This is actually the bolt that retains the punch. Don't lose those washers. And then we have to take these 2 bolts loose that hold the mouthpiece in. So these little wrenches work, but again, they're just stamped steel. They're not very good quality. I would imagine you might want to consider replacing them at some point. Okay, drop that bolt out, and then this whole piece slides right out. And now we can get to the punch. So we're going to remove the punch, and at this point we would choose to go to a different one. Now, I actually had a question from a customer about whether or not the 1/8 inch punch would punch 3 pieces of sheet metal. So we're going to go ahead and put the 1/8 inch back in and use it anyway. And I think probably the easiest way to put this back in is to do this. That way it'll line up, and then we can just press it into place. So we'll slide that back, orient it so the hole's up. Slide the tool back together again, and probably easiest to try and line up the punch hole first. And if you can see it, there's a hole that lines through the side of the punch, just like that. And we have to pass that bolt through, like so. We get a washer and a nut on that. Put those back in. Put that back in. And again, I would replace these wrenches quick. Good Lord. It's fighting me. You can see the wrench is just terrible. And here at Rapid Materials, we believe in honesty in reviewing. This tool looks to be a very well-made tool, but these wrenches are just something somebody pulled off a shelf. All right, let's make sure this thing moves properly. And then we're going to snug down the bolt that holds the punch. So we're just going to snug it down about that much. And everything still moves. Okay, so that's how you change a punch. All right, according to the manufacturer, Edma, this tool should be able to punch anything up to 16 gauge mild steel, 18 gauge stainless steel, and 11 gauge, which is actually 090 aluminum. So zinc, 24 gauge steel, copper should all be easy work for it. So we're going to give it a shot and just see what happens. All right, so this is going to slide on over here. Squeeze. Nice little hole. Works great in copper. Consistent holes. Let's move it a little bit closer. Oh, copper, no problem. Let's try it on steel. No problem with steel. Okay. Zinc. And this is 08 zinc. No problem. All right. Now, one of the questions I was asked is, can you punch through multiple sheets of metal? So we're going to try. So the question I was asked specifically is, can you punch through 3 pieces of 24 gauge steel? And we're going to find out. And the reason my customer is asking about this is because he wants to pre-punch for rivet holes. And it punches through. It surely does. That's 2. Let's try 3. So we can do it with a one-handed squeeze. Nope. Two-handed squeeze? Nope. So I'd have to say that the limit is going to be 2 pieces of sheet metal if you're working with steel. So if you need to rivet a couple pieces of metal together, that's probably a good, useful tool. But definitely not 3. All right, so we put a larger punch in here. In fact, we went with the largest one they have, which is just a hair under 1/4 of an inch. You can see what size that is. One thing I can tell you is when we replace the punch, it's a lot stiffer. And I think that perhaps a little lubrication wouldn't hurt, maybe a little squirt of WD-40 on the punch right there, but it's definitely very stiff. I think it would probably loosen up with usage, but at the moment that's a bit of a problem. In any case, let's see how it works. So it punches copper, no problem at all. 24 gauge steel, that's a one-handed punch, that worked real well. And, oh, sorry, that was zinc. This is 24 gauge steel. And it still punches with one hand really well. And it does a nice clean hole. Well, my conclusions on this tool are, number one, it's a pretty well-made tool. It definitely has some quality to it. I do have a few issues. One is it's kind of difficult to change the punch out because you do have to basically partially disassemble the tool, and there are no instructions with it. Also, it's stiff. The spring isn't strong enough to get it to return, and again, I think that with some use and some lubrication, that would probably alleviate itself. It does come with a good selection of punches. It's adjustable. It does what it's advertised to do. For the price, I think it's a pretty good tool. I have looked at other hole punches that sell for 2 and 3 times what this one sells for. On Rapid Materials, this is a $205 tool. So how would I grade this? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 7, mostly because of the stiffness, and the tools they send with it are really dumpster fodder. Thanks for taking the time to watch our video today. For more great videos, visit us at rapidmaterials.com or visit our YouTube channel.